Hello dear friends. Up to now we have studied many things in this chapter. Now in the previous chapter and in previous topics we discuss qualitatively that Lenz's law is consistent with the law of conservation of energy. Now we shall explore this aspect further with concrete example. Suppose in the case that was the previous case that we had studied, here we consider that we are given a U-shape file or a U-shape arrangement of conductors. On this U-shape arrangement of the conductors, we put some rod and we allow it to move on it in a particular way. Suppose the rod which is having a length L is moving in inward direction with speed v. Then we learned that suppose the resistance of the given arrangement be small r. So suppose a resistance that we consider is of the system be small r. Now here we will also consider that the other part of the system, that means what we consider actually, that is, suppose this is the PQ arm and this is suppose the RS arm. So in respect to this we consider that the resistance of this PQ, so is arm PQ's resistance is given as a small r, and we assume that the remaining arms, that is QR, RS and SP, have negligible resistance, so that they are negligible with respect to small r. Now thus the overall resistance of the rectangular loop is R, and this does not change as PQ rod is moving inside and the current I in the loop will remain as it is. Now we know that the current is, following the equation as E is equals to IR, we can get that I is equals to E over R. So this will be our first equation that we may use somewhere. Now we have knowledge that the force exerted by the magnetic field is, that is, IL cross B, and here the rod that we have considered over here is kept in such a way that the magnetic field in this region is uniform and going inward as shown by the cross symbol. So this cross symbol shows that the uniform magnetic field that is going inward direction. Now in this arrangement, as we know that the force is given by ILB, because the magnetic field and length of the rod are perpendicular to each other. Here the length and magnetic field are perpendicular, so force will be given as ILB. Now here we have equation of I, that is E by R, so we can replace it, that is E by R into L into B. But here we consider that the rod PQ, that is arm PQ, is moving, So here obviously the motional EMF will produce. Now we know that the equation for motional EMF is given by the equation that is E is equals to BVL. So obviously here the EMF will be given by BVL, and we can simply write down the equation related to that as E is equals to BVL. So now by using this formula, the force acting will be, that is BVL over R into L into B. So now in the equation that we get now is B square L square into V upon R, but this is the equation of force. Now we will give it equation number 2. But as in the previous topic of power, we learned that power is defined as force into velocity. So power is force into velocity. Now by replacing this term over here, we get, that is B square L square V square over R is equals to the total power. So here we can say that we have used the equation through which we can get the term power as our equation number A. So here we can say that this force arises due to drift velocity, and overall the power terms comes out to be B square L square V square over R. Now we want to see that where this power is given. This is actually the mechanical work that is given by moving rod towards the inward direction, and it produces the power. Now we will see that where this power will use or where it is converted. So we have studied the term that is Joule heating. So as per as Joule heating, we can simply say that power due to Joule heating is given by, that is a well-known equation for the power as a Joule heating, that is power is equals to I square into R. Now if we move further to equation that is above, that I is equals to E over R and E is equals to BVL, then from equation 1 we can say that I is equals to E over R and E due to the motion will be given by BVL. So Joule power is given by B square V square L square over R square into R. Here we can cancel out one R term, and therefore the Joule heating or the power due to Joule heating is B square V square L square over R. And this is interesting to see that if we give it name as equation B, then our equation A and B comes out to be equal. You can see over here that our equation A and equation B are the same thing. So we can say that this mechanical energy is used or dissipated as a Joule heating, and it is represented by this equation number B. Now equation A and B are same, and therefore we can say that all the terms which is used in a mechanical power is produced here a joule heating or a joule power. So this is the qualitative explanation of the topic. The mechanical energy which was needed to move the arm PQ is converted into electrical energy first, that we have represented with P equals to VI or P equals to I square R, and then it produces or induced EMF, and then it converted into the thermal energy. So this is the comparison and the comparison of the given equation in term of power. Now here we can also find an interesting relationship between the charge that flow through the circuit and the change in the magnetic flux that will occur. Now we know the equation of Faraday or the Faraday's law, that we have learned that the magnitude of the induced EMF. So first of all we will talk about the magnitude term only. So here we say that the magnitude of EMF is given by, that is, change in magnetic flux upon time period delta t. Now as per as Ohm's law, we also know that E is represented by I into R, and further by chapter number 3 we also know that I is represented by delta Q upon delta T. If we replace all these terms in above equation, then suppose we give this equation as equation number 1, then here we can compare that I is equals to delta Q over delta T into R itself will remain there, and then this is equals to delta phi due to magnetic field upon delta T. Here obviously the term delta T will cancel out, and now we can have the remaining term, that is delta Q into R is equals to change in magnetic flux. So if we make the subject as a delta Q, that is charge passing through the given cross section or the rod, that will be equals to delta phi B over R. So here this is very interesting result that we have obtained, that the change in the charge will also equals to the change in magnetic flux and the ratio of it with respect to resistance. So here this is the another comparison for the charge equation in magnetic field. So we can define electric charge for magnetic field by the change of magnetic flux upon resistance of the conductor. So this is also an important term. Dear friends, up to we have studied that electric current induced in a well defined path in conductors like circular loops. Even when bulk pieces of conductors are subjected to a changing magnetic flux, induced currents are produced in them. However, their flow patterns resembles swirling eddies in water, and this effect is called eddy effect. This effect was discovered by physicist Foucault, which is spelled like Foucault, but it is pronounced like Foucault, and these currents are therefore called eddy currents. Now, to understand this phenomena, we will consider the following figure. Here in this figure we are given that two strong magnets are kept in a particular field and they are arranged in such a manner that they produces a strong magnetic field in the given region. Now in that given region also, if we consider that if that magnetic field is strong enough that it produces a uniform magnetic field from north to south as shown in the figure, if we suspend a copper plate and allow it to swing like a simple pendulum between the pole pieces of this strong magnet, it is found that the motion is damped and a little while the plate comes to a halt in a magnetic field. Now, in fact, we can say that the retarding force due to the eddy current inhibits the motion of the plate due to the magnet, and we can explain this phenomena on the basis of electromagnetic induction, that magnetic flux associated with the plate keeps on changing as the plate moves in and out of the region between the magnetic poles. See, when plate is entering into the region between the poles, we can see that the direction of magnetic field is from north to south, and therefore the induced current will that produced inside the plate, that is opposing this magnetic field. As we can see here, the plate's part that will face the north pole will have anti-clockwise current in it when it enters, but when it is about to leave the pole or the region, we can again see that if it is leaving, then the current in the plate that will induce will be clockwise, because as it is leaving, the pole will try to attract it, and in the condition to attraction it should follow as a south pole. So the current will flow in the clockwise direction when the plate will move away or going out, and the anti-clockwise current will flow into the plate when it enters into the region of the strong magnetic field. Now due to this phenomena, we can say that due to the opposite condition induced inside the plate, it will resist the motion of the plate and it comes to the rest. This phenomena is called electromagnetic damping, because the magnetic field, or due to the magnetic field, the motion of the plate is resisted and it comes to an halt. Now here we can explain this phenomena, that magnetic flux associated with the plate keeps on changing as the plate moves in and out of the region between the magnetic poles. The flux change induces eddy current in the plate. Direction of eddy currents are opposite when the plate swings into the region between the poles and when it swings out of the region. Now it is very clear that we cannot cancel out this effect, but there are certain methods through which we can minimize this effect. To minimize this effect, what are the options? For that, we can make the plate as a slotted, as shown in the figure that I am drawing or I am going to show. Here we can say that if the same slot or the same plate is now having slots like this, then what will happen? Then the electron in the region will have to travel more. If a rectangular slots are made in the copper plate, then the area available to the flow of eddy current is decreasing, that is less. Thus, the pendulum plate which holds or a slot reduces the electromagnetic damping and the plate swings more freely. Here we have to note that magnetic moments of the induced current, that is opposes its motion, depends upon the area enclosed by the current. We can say that we have studied the term that magnetic moment is equals to current into area. Now, this fact is helpful in reducing eddy current in the metallic cores of transformers. So we can say that by making these type of slots, we can reduce eddy current or eddy effects in certain instruments or certain devices like transformers. So we can say that it reduces eddy effect in some instruments, say transformer. Then where we can apply it, that after transformer we can say electric motors. So electric motors will also have eddy effect that we can reduce is by making this type of slots, and obviously that other devices in which coil is to be wound over a metallic core, so which has that moving coil or coil like arrangement in which we have to wound it, we can reduces the effect of this eddy current. But eddy currents are undesirable since they heat up the core and dissipate electrical energy in the form of heat. Eddy currents are minimized by using laminations of the metal to make a metal core. So we can also reduce its effect by lamination core. So laminating core on a plate or a metallic plate, we can reduce its effect. The laminations are separated by an insulating material like lacquer. The plane of lamination must be arranged parallel to the magnetic field so that they cut across the eddy current's path. This arrangement reduces the strength of eddy currents, and since the dissipation of electrical energy into heat depends on the square of the strength of electric current, heat loss is substantially reduces. So we can reduce the eddy effect or eddy current, but we cannot cancel it totally. So this is important topic for this chapter, that is eddy current, and it can be asked for 2 mark question in the examination. Dear friends, now we will see some of the uses of eddy currents. The first use of eddy current can be explained for a magnetic braking in trains, or this type of braking is also called as a smooth braking. Now we will see that why this is so. The reason is the strong electromagnets are situated above the rails in some electrically powered trains. These trains are also called as maglev train. Now when the electromagnets are activated, the eddy currents induced in the rail opposes the motion of the train, and therefore the train which is in motion comes to the rest. As there are no mechanical linkage, that means no braking in such manner that there will be a friction will produce or a jerk will experience, the braking effect is remain smooth, and therefore it is called a smooth braking. So that is called a smooth braking path. The second use, that is electromagnetic damping. We have explained earlier that when any metallic object pass through a strong uniform magnetic field, it will experience the force or a retarding force. Due to the eddy current inhibits the motion of the magnet. Such phenomena are referred to electromagnetic damping. Now, using these phenomena, a certain galvanometers have a fixed core made of magnetic metallic material. We can say for a moving coil galvanometers, they have a fixed core made of non-magnetic metallic material. Now, when the coil oscillates, the eddy currents generated in the core, which opposes the motion and bring the coil to the rest quickly. So, it will not continue to fluctuate inside the magnetic field. So, this is that electromagnetic damping will use for to bring the resting of this coil quickly. Now the third use, that is induction furnace. Now in induction furnace, how it is used, that we will see. We can explain that induction furnace can be used to produce high temperatures and can be utilized to prepare alloys. By melting the constituent metals, a high frequency alternating current is passed through a coil which surrounds the metals to be melted. Now the eddy currents generated in metals produces high temperatures which is sufficient to melt them, and therefore in this manner the alloys are prepared. So by the help of induction furnace we can get this type of melted form alloy. And the fourth use, that is in electric power meters. The shiny metal disc in the electric power meter rotates due to the eddy currents. These power meters that we are talking about is of analog type. Nowadays generally we have seen that digital electric power meters, but this explanation is related to analog type of electric power meters. Now the electric current are induced in the disc by magnetic fields, and that produces by a sinusoidally varying currents in a coil. Now in this type of analog power meter we have observed the rotating shiny disc, which is the effect of this eddy current, and due to that eddy current it moves in that vicinity on a circular path. So in this manner that eddy currents are used for a smooth braking in a maglev train, electromagnetic damping for a galvanometer like instrument, induction furnace which are used to melt and prepare alloys, and in electrical power meter for the calculation of the electric bill meter. So these are the uses of eddy current. Dear friends, now we will see the illustration number 6.8. For that we have to follow the figure as shown here. The arm PQ of the rectangular conductor is moved from x equals to 0 to outwards direction. The uniform magnetic field is perpendicular to the plane and extended from x equals to 0 to x equals to b, and it is 0 for x greater than small b. Now only the arm PQ possesses substantial resistance small r, consider the situation when the arm PQ is pulled outward from x equals to 0 to x equals to 2b and is then removed from x equals to 0 with constant speed v. Obtain expressions for the flux, the induced EMF, the force which is necessary to pull the arm, and the power dissipated as a joule heat, and also sketch the variation of these quantities with distance. Now clear? Here we have to move from x equals to 0 to x equals to b. To consider the examination, first of all we will take the magnetic flux that is linked with the circuit SPQR. As shown in the figure, we can see that SPQR is a very small rectangular part and the flux linked with it is suppose B into A. If we say that the length of the arm is to be L and the distance it has covered suppose x, so here we consider that suppose it has covered x distance, and if the length of this arrangement be small l, then that area is equals to length into breadth, and therefore we can get the answer as BLX in general. So if the distance is between 0 to B, it will be 0 to B, it will be BLX, and for outer part of that X it will follow BLB, as it will leave the magnetic flux and magnetic field, so the remaining part will not have any magnetic effect, and therefore the flux will remain as BLB, because after B, that is after small b, there is no magnetic field effect. Now for induced EMF we will follow Faraday's law, that E is equals to minus delta phi upon delta t or d phi by dt. Here we have B into L as given, and x is the distance that is covered from 0 to x equals to 0 to x equals to b or x equals to 2b. So here we can say that EMF or the induced EMF in the magnetic field is equals to minus BL dx upon dt. As we know that dx upon dt is velocity, we can simply write that EMF is equals to minus BLV for the condition between 0 and b, and the EMF will be 0 for the condition outside B, that is B to 2B, it will be 0. So EMF for the region x equals to B to x equals to 2B will be 0, and in the region x equals to 0 to x equals to B, it will be minus BLV. Now another thing that I want to consider for current. Current also is given by I is equals to E by R. Now current is a scalar quantity, so we can define it as BVL over R. But it will also obtain in the region where the magnetic field is existing, and for B equals to 0, the current will also be 0. Now suppose we want to find out the force. The equation for force is also known, that is B square L square V over small r. This force is also acting when magnetic field is not 0, that is in the region between 0 to small b. So if the value of x is less than b and it is in the region from 0 less than or equals to x is less than b, then we can get the force, that is F is equals to B square L square V over R, and it will be 0 where magnetic field B is 0. Now we are also asked to find out the Joule heating condition. So the Joule heating will be P, that is I square R. We have value of I, that is BLV over R. So we can say that B square V square L square over R square into R. So here we can cancel out one R and we can get B square V square L square over R. For the region for X is between 0 to B. Now it will be 0 for the region where magnetic field is 0. So these are the equation and the values that we are asked to find out. Now for the graphical or the sketch of the variation of these quantities with respect to distance are given in the graph below. Here we have shown the inward and outward direction by O oblique W, that shows outward direction, and I oblique W indicates the inward direction. Now we have bifurcated the distance, that is from 0 to B, then B to 2B, then again 2B to B and B to 0 in the bottom line. And when we compare this part with our each quantity, so first of all the flux is defined as BLB for the region 0 to B. Then it will remain constant because there is no magnetic field and therefore there is a no change in the flux. From 2B to B, again it is the region where there is no magnetic field and therefore there is a no change. But as soon as the object or the rod enters from B to 0, that is it is moving towards the 0 line, again it will move and the flux will change and that will decreases because it is following opposite direction. So the graph shows initially increment from 0 to B and same decrement from B to 0. Now for the quantity EMF, we have equation BVL. If it is for the outward path, initially up to B it will show by minus BLV and therefore it is negative and shown below the axis. Now for the region B2 to B, there is no magnetic field and therefore no EMF is induced. In the same condition from 2B to B, there is no magnetic field and no EMF is induced, but when it enters from B to 0, we can have positive BLV EMF. In the same manner, force is also defined for the region between 0 to B or B to 0, and it is 0 from B to 2B and 2B to B. But here we have a very interesting result for the power term. That power is a square or the B square V square L square over R. So here due to this, all the conditions, all the quantities are in the form of square, no negative value is obtained and power is positive for 0 to B as there is some magnetic field. It will be 0 for B to 2B as there is no magnetic field. Again it will be 0 for 2B to B for not magnetic field, and again the value will be maximum from B to 0 as the magnetic field again comes into the picture. So this is the graphical explanation of the given question, and we have shown different quantities like a flux, EMF, force and power for the asked question.